McFarlane action figure aficionados, what happened to our McFarlane action figures? We have stuff from 2020, 2021, and 2022, but what happened to 2023? Did the license expire? Please let me know in the comment section if you actually know what happened. So today we are going to be looking at what potentially could be the last McFarlane action figure on this channel, which happens to be the Traitor guard that was released with Darktide. So with that being said, let's just jump into the review.
Ah yes, quite an imposing figure, don't you think? Time to unleash the warp. The reveal. And ahead of us, we have what could be one of the last McFarlane action figures that we review on this channel, which is kind of a sad thing. But anyways, we shall soldier on, so they say. So looking at the whole composition of this action figure, it is a very dark looking action figure. You've got a lot of black that's going on with the different armor pieces, and it looks like the flak armor itself is a very dark green color, and then the rest of the accessories have a maroon color. So when you are looking at this action figure, it actually doesn't really jump out too much to me. It looks fairly dull and needs a little bit more work. So that is what aftermarket retooling is for. But that's not the purpose of this review. Taking a look at the helmet area as well as this tassel up top, there is a lot of texture that we're seeing here. It does give the look that this tassel is actually flowing. And then we progress onto the helmet area of this action figure, and the helmet is a very soft plastic. It's very pliable, so this is unlike what we've seen before, because this typically is like kind of like a hard plastic. And unfortunately, you do get to see some prominent mold lines that run up top. And then what I really like about this figure, which is the central reason why I got this one, is that the face is really cool, very skeletal, very emaciated, very pallid. I really like how the eyes are very hollow and sunken. There's no pupils, almost like this guy is lifeless or possessed by a chaos demon. I'm a big fan of how the nose is completely eroded away, and McFarlane shaded the inside of here, giving more depth. And probably the coolest thing on here is just the teeth. Look how rotted these teeth are. You get to see these gums, very dark lining. And I really love the face detail here. The wrinkles, too, literally bring this thing to life to me, or undeath, as you may want to call it. And I think McFarlane did a very, very good job with the face, and probably could be one of my favorite faces on an action figure ever produced. The shoulder pads on this corrupted Astra Militarum figure is, again, of that same pliable, soft plastic. And you can see these wicked looking barbs that are sticking out here. And then on the left hand side, you get a more prominent barb that is sticking out. And then you get to see some silver chains that are dangling down. The forearms are also made of that same soft plastic material. It is black, more spikes on this side as well. And then in the middle part of this action figure, you get a prominent Chaos, I believe, Undivided sign. And then you get these accessory pouches that are supposed to like mimic a bandolier. These are a nice dark maroon color. And then going across the bottom, you get a bunch of stick bombs here, which I'm going to assume that are probably like frag grenades or something. The handles of these things are of a very soft plastic material. And then as you progress down to the middle part of this action figure, you get to see a lot of different textures, to be honest, that are more than what you would normally see on a Joy Toy action figure, in my opinion. You get a highly textured pouch here, lots of detail with the belt. You can almost see like the leather of the belt sticking out and the texture of it, a very prominent belt buckle, and more pouches, as you can see. I really like these pouches. They are so highly textured. And that's the one thing I will miss about these McFarlane action figures as compared to the Joy Toy ones, because there is so much detail on here. With the lower half of this action figure, you can also see a bunch of texture with the cloth. You can see the folds on the fabric are very nicely done. And then these things have like a checkered pattern almost to it. and you can feel the patterning here, which is really nice. I forgot to mention too that the flak armor has a bunch of battle damage to it, so you can see some dings, a scrape here, a bunch of dings down here too, so it makes it look like this guy has been through a lot of battles. And moving on with the lower area of this action figure, lots of detail with the cloth on the upper thigh region. This really would have been nice, in my opinion, if it was a different color, because I know that if this is shaded properly, this definitely would bring on a whole different dimension on this action figure. On the right hand side, you see some more accessory pouches that are strapped onto the thigh region. Once you flip behind here, holy cow, the texture is amazing here. Look at the detail and look at the patterning. It is second to none. And then I really like how the cloth scrunches up here at the top of the boots, really mimicking life in general of how this is supposed to look like. So holy crap. So moving on to the lower area, there are straps that protect the shin area, and this is also made of the same soft plastic material all throughout. You get to see straps and buckles back here, and with the boots finally, you get to see the lacings as well. I'm going to assume that these are steel-toed boots. So the las gun is a very odd looking color. You have a very bright silver, and then it transitions to obviously a black. The color contrast is quite prominent here, but I think it's a little bit too prominent. But I would have to say, with some aftermarket treatment and fix-up, that this las gun could look pretty cool in my opinion. So you have the Chaos Undivided symbol that is emblazoned here. You have some cloth that is wrapped around the stock of this las gun. So there's a very highly detailed handle on here with a bunch of texture. I believe the battery pack of this las gun is down here. And then it finally rounds off to a very, very silver looking muzzle.
Have we actually seen the last McFarlane action figure? Well, hopefully not. I kind of love McFarlane action figures, and I feel like they're almost like the, I don't know if this is the correct term, but almost like the underdogs of the Warhammer 40K action figure lines. I don't know if people expect a lot out of these things, but for the amount of money that you pay for McFarlane action figures, they're completely worth it. And this corrupted Imperial Guard is no exception to that rule. The first thing that I love about this action figure is the face. The amount of detail that is poured over in that face is completely astounding and phenomenal to me. I love the wrinkles on the action figure. I love the missing nose and the gaping hole where the nostrils used to be, and then the rotting teeth, as well as the hollow eyes that this action figure has, is, like I said, second to none and probably the best looking face, even though it's creepy looking, in the whole entire McFarlane line. And another thing that I'll comment on is, again, the look of the fabric and the dynamics of the fabrics as well. When you look at this action figure, you can see a lot of depth on it. Way more than, let's just say, your Bandai as well as your Joy Toy action figures. That's the one thing that McFarlane has completely knocked out of the ballpark, in my opinion. It's just a texture on this action figure. Again, do I recommend this action figure? Yes, I do. $20 is not that bad for a very astounding piece of artwork, I suppose you want to call this thing. Again, this is your Chapter Master Spruce and Studs, and I hope you enjoyed this action figure review. And if these in-depth reviews are your thing, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, as it helps out the channel very much and the YouTube algorithm to promote it. And with that being said, I will see you all in the next one.